You guys have got to hear this. Actual analogies and metaphors found in high school essays. Her face was a perfect oval, like a circle that had its two sides gently compressed by a thigh master. His thoughts tumbled in his head, making and breaking alliances like underpants in a dryer without cling-free. He spoke with the wisdom that can only come from experience, like a guy who went blind because he looked at a solar eclipse without one of those boxes with a pinhole in it, and now goes around the country speaking at high schools about the dangers of looking at a solar eclipse without one of the boxes. Without one of those boxes with a pinhole. Looking at a solar eclipse without one of those boxes with a pinhole in it. Next one. She grew on him like she was the colony of E. coli and he was room temperature of Canadian beef. She had a deep, throaty, genuine laugh, like that sound of a tongue that makes before it throws up. Her vocabulary was as bad as, like, whatever. He was as tall as a 6'3" tree. The revelation that his marriage of 30 years had disintegrated because of his wife's infidelity came as a rude shock, like a surcharge at a formerly surcharge-free ATM. The little boat gently drifted across the pond, exactly the way a bowling ball wouldn't. McBride fell 12 stories, hitting the pavement like a hefty bag filled with vegetable soup. From the attic came an unearthly howl. The whole scene had an eerie, surreal quality, like when you're on vacation in another city and Jeopardy comes on at 7 p.m. instead of 7:30 p.m. Her hair glistened in the rain, like a nose hair after a sneeze. The hailstones leapt from the pavement, just like maggots when you fry them in hot grease. Long separated by cruel fate, the star-crossed lovers raced across the grassy fields toward each other, like two freight trains, one having left Clevefield at 6:36 p.m., traveling at 55 miles per hour, and the other from Tocopilla at 4:19 at the speed of 35 miles per hour. They lived in a typical suburban neighborhood with picket fences that resembled Nancy Kerrigan's teeth. John and Mary had never met. They were like two hummingbirds who had also never met. He fell for her like his heart was a mob informant and she was the East River. Even in his last years, Grandpappy had a mind like a steel trap, only one that had been left out for so long it had rusted shut. Shots rang out, as shots are wont to do. The plan was simple, like my brother-in-law Phil, but unlike Phil, this plan just might work. The young fighter had a hungry look, the kind you get from not eating for a while. He was lame as a duck, not a metaphorical duck either, but a real duck that was actually lame, maybe from stepping on a landmine or something. The ballerina rose gracefully end point, and extended one slender leg behind her, like a dog at a fire hydrant. It was an American tradition, like fathers chasing kids around with power tools. He was deeply in love. When she spoke, he thought he heard bells, as if she were a garbage truck backing up. Her eyes were limpid pools, only they had forgotten to put in any pH cleanser. She walked into my office like a centipede with 98 missing legs. It hurt the way your tongue hurts after you accidentally stapled it to a wall. As I raced up the parkway, late for a final, the Canadian goose took off from the lake at such a tangential angle that it stuck the front of my car with a sound like a pillowcase filled with chocolate pudding. That would make the front of the car. That is how pudding would make it if it hit the front of the car flying at 65 miles per hour, except without a burst of purpose. I'm gonna have to do this again without laughing.